Andre, I think it's fair to say that the new Toyota Land Cruiser is a massive hit.
Yeah, so we just looked at the numbers, and the previous generation Land Cruiser 200 series sold around 4,000 vehicles per year in the US. This new one, 250 series, sells about 4,000 a month.
So why is that?
Well, that's what we're going to find out in this video.
I think one of the biggest reasons, of course, is that the base Land Cruiser, the 1958 edition, starts at about $58,000.
Yes.
Now, this isn't the base.
Yeah.
We'll get to the price of this one at the end of this video.
Yeah.
But let's start where we always start, which is with the styling. Now, there are two different front fascias you can get. You can get kind of this more modern, squinty-eyed one, or
Yeah.
the 1958 has the round lights. I kind of like the round lights.
Exactly, but I think there's a place for both of them. I keep going back and forth, back and forth. Sometimes I really love this one, and sometimes I really like the round lights.
Yeah, I think they're really good. What do you think of the color?
I love it, dude. Especially the two-tone with the roof being white. I think the color is amazing.
Toyota calls this smoky blue.
Smoky.
Yep, smoky.
I kind of like that. That's nice.
And why is our Land Cruiser dirty, Andre?
Well, because the team, Tommy and Case and I was there, we took it off-road on the Ironclad's trail.
Yeah, we compared it to our Bronco, which is actually a good comparison. So if you want to see that video, you want to head over to alltfl.com where we do that comparison. So let's look under the hood and talk about what powers this. And as you know, Andre, all Toyotas starting in 2026 are now hybrids, and the Land Cruiser is no exception.
Exactly. So let's see if I can do this gracefully. I did. Well, this is not that graceful.
No, there's no engine cover.
There's no engine cover. But so, like you said, so all Land Cruisers are hybrid. This is a 2.4 liter. This is the 4-cylinder. But it's actually quite powerful. So don't discount this vehicle because it doesn't have 8 cylinders, right? So this is 326 horsepower and 465 pound-feet of torque, which is actually quite a lot of power.
Yeah, it's actually a surprisingly big vehicle. And the good news is, unlike the previous 200 series, which had a V8 and got pretty awful fuel economy, this gets, according to the EPA, 23 combined.
And we've done some testing with this new Land Cruiser, right?
Yeah.
So we've done some efficiency loops. We've done the Denver 100. So I wouldn't say, I mean, this is not a Prius, right? So this hybrid is really not meant for ultimate efficiency, but it's way more efficient than the previous one.
Well, you know, the previous one was very expensive. I want to say that last Heritage Edition was over 100,000. So it's kind of no surprise that now they're selling a lot more of them. But let's talk about the back end, the business end. This does have the tow package. It does have a brake controller. How much is the tow?
So the rating is upwards of 6,000 pounds, and this plastic cover is hiding that hitch, right? So the hitch and some of the elements are under
Are you
it.
saying it's got a hitch condom?
Yeah, well, that's not what I said, but yes. And look, because it's a hybrid, there's a little bit bigger lip here. So I'm not in love with that, actually.
You know, it's funny. I was in Japan,
Yeah.
and in Japan, you can get one with a third row, as you can tell by the fact that there are cup holders back here.
Yeah, well, this is the interesting part, because there's also the 4Runner that's built on a very similar chassis.
Yes.
There's also the Lexus GX that has a V6 that's built on a very similar chassis. So there's a lot of vehicles in the Toyota Lexus lineup that have very similar chassis.
Now, does this come with a spare tire, Andre?
Yes, and it should be underneath.
Is it full
here.
size?
Let me look. Yes. So that's one element that I do like, because this is really an off-roader, right? Even though the tires don't look off-roady at all. But you need to have a full-size spare if you encounter a problem on the trail.
Yeah, you can get this with much more off-roady tires, and it is kind of odd that you've got the side steps, you've got the mud flaps,
Yeah.
But you don't
big
have
ones.
off-road tires.
And also, you don't get a lot of ground clearance with this vehicle. About 8.7 inches of ground clearance, which is not a lot.
Question I have is, do you fit? Now, you're taller than me, so let's put the bigger guy in the back seat.
Okay, so I was sitting in the front, and oh, you know what? I do fit. And also the seat is reclined back a little bit, so that offers me a little bit more comfort. But I tend to slide down, you know, this kind of seat, because it's reclined. I feel like I'm gonna slide down a little bit.
What do you think of that kind of dark chocolate interior? I kind of like it.
I love the what they've done with color selection here. I think they're doing a good job.
It's a bold choice to go with smoky blue, and I'm sure they don't call it dark chocolate or cappuccino, but I'm not sure it works, but I kind of like it.
Yeah, but I guess there is enough space in there for a big dude.
All right, Cole, hop in and we'll take it for a ride.
Let's do it.
I think it was kind of brilliant of Toyota to take what is an iconic name, Land Cruiser, and apply it to a less expensive vehicle. A lot of people don't consider this the Land Cruiser. If you're a true Toyota aficionado, you would consider the Lexus the Land Cruiser. This, on the other hand,
The big LX.
yeah,
you mean?
this on the other hand would be, I think it's called the Prado in the rest of the world. But going from 4,000 a year to 4,000 a month,
That's a huge success.
that's a huge success. All right, Andre, there are some signs of cost cutting in this. There are some cheaper plastics,
Yeah.
but they have not cut costs when it comes to their all-wheel drive system or four-wheel drive.
Yeah, so it's a full-time 4x4, right? You can see that H4. Center locking differential rear. There is no front locker in this, so it's not triple locked, but still pretty impressive. Crawl control, multi-terrain select, and drive modes.
Yeah, so Toyota does this like dual drive mode thing where you've got on road you've got sport, normal, and eco, but then if you go into off-road they give you more drive modes for going off-roading. I kind of find that to be a little confusing, but once you get used to it I guess it's okay. Now this one does have all the bells and whistles, so we're looking at both vented and heated seats. We're looking at pretty much everything I think that you can get in a Land Cruiser in terms of amenities, including a lot of cool stuff back there. I don't know if Cole can see it, but there is also, I think, is it
Climate control setting,
Yeah,
yeah.
It's nice.
Dude, and there's also a cool box.
There is a cool box in here.
Did you bring some drinks?
No, but there's a cool box right there, which is kind of a Land Cruiser thing when you think about it.
Yeah. Yes.
And I do like, the new infotainment that Toyota has built. It's much better than the old one. If you haven't seen the new one, you should check it out. And let's look at the camera. Tons of different camera angles,
Nice.
including a 360 bird's eye view. I've got it in sport mode, so when we go on our little ride around the hood here, we can see just how it drives. I do miss the V8 of the old 200 series, Andre. I don't miss the fuel economy, but I do miss the V8.
Yes.
A lot of old school people are like, yeah. But let's see, what having a turbo does,
And electricity too.
electricity and 4 less cylinders. So I'm gonna floor it. Here we go. Ooh, gets up and goes.
Well, it's not a very premium sound, I would
No,
say.
it's a little buzzy.
Yeah, it's a little buzzy.
It's
So
not slow, but it's not quick.
Yeah. But I mean, speed is not one of the attributes of this kind of off-roady SUV, but it's not a very premium sounding powertrain.
And the ride quality, when I'm going over these bumps, isn't as squishy as I would think that an off-roader would be. One of the great things about like a Raptor is you just kind of float over any irregularities in the road, and yet this one, there's a little bit of harshness that's coming through the chassis. Just a whiff, just a little, bit of I don't know. There, you felt it right there, right? It's kind of hitting a little too hard for my liking.
And I think many people who purchase these do maybe put them on bigger tires, because this looks a lot better with a slightly bigger tire that's more aggressive. Some people also give them lifts, so people are modifying them.
A Raptor, I just
Raptor?
mentioned it, yeah. Yeah, they look incredible when you lift them, especially if you go like the Arctic truck route when you put these big balloony tires on it. Those look so cool. So we do have a heads-up display. We have a traditional shifter, which I like. Leather-covered steering wheel. A lot of controls on the steering wheel. Real buttons. How cool is that? Real vent controls. I think Toyota got that completely correct, and that they didn't necessarily go down the more modern route of putting everything in the screen, even a volume knob. But what's missing, Andre? A tuning knob.
Yes, you're right. Where's the tuning knob?
I don't know. This one the volume knob almost looked like stuck in like an afterthought.
Bang.
I also kind of feel this is a little confusing. You've got your mode select and you got your power switch, and they're very similar. So when I first got into this, I was pushing that. I'm like, why won't this thing start?
Yes, because that's kind of hidden behind the steering wheel, right?
Yeah, and then your tow haul mode is hidden, and then your brake controller is way down here on the left side. And I know Mr. Truck would not be happy about that.
But it has one.
But it has one.
But it has one. That's really important.
But in an emergency, you'd kind of have to reach down here to hit it if you did have that.
Not great. Wireless controller, wireless charger.
Heated steering wheel, of course.
Yeah.
Which is nice. Grab handles, not just
on your side too.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, look at that.
They didn't skimp on grab handles either.
No, there's 6 of them, dude. That is the most grab handles. That could be your headline for this video. What car has 6? There's 8 of them, Cole says. Yeah. Oh my God.
Well, there's one in the back too.
Oh, 9?
So, I mean, 10.
10.
I mean, there's an infinite number of grab handles here.
This has to be the most grab handles of any vehicle that we've ever tested, which is cool.
Okay.
So,
but how much does it cost, Roman?
How much do you think it costs?
Well, I know. Let me bring this out.
You got the Monroney there. You got the sticker. It costs a lot, Andre. Everything costs a lot nowadays.
So, like you said, the base one, the 1958, starts at around $58,000. Now, this one, it does have every option, including the premium package. This one is $70,164.
It's still a lot less to the old one than the 200 series.
Yeah, it's about 20K less, maybe more. Well, yeah, the old one was very expensive.
And I think that was Toyota's brilliant move, that when all, and I do mean all, vehicle prices are skyrocketing, all of a sudden Toyota
went the other way.
Went down, but not by like 2,000 or 3,000, but like by 20,000 or 30,000. You could make the argument that they also went down in quality. I think that is, the decision on that one is still out.
Yeah.
But in general, it's a smart move, and I think it paid off for Toyota. So I think it's fair to say that this, at least from a sales point of view, is a huge success.
Indeed. Would you buy this one, or would you buy the one with the round headlamps? Which way would you go?
There used to be 3 of them, right? There was also a first edition.
Yeah.
So it used to be 55, 65, 75, depending on which you wanted. The first edition was 75. Well, I would buy the Foreigner, because that's what we did. At $57,000 for our TRD off-road,
yeah,
it was still $13,000 cheaper than this, and you can go down more. Having said that, I do like the ride of this better, and in some ways I think that this is a more useful vehicle than a Foreigner, because it's bigger, it's of course all hybrid, and I actually think it's a little bit better off-road. Even though it has less ground clearance, I think it's got more suspension travel.
Yeah, that's really cool.
All right, guys, well, thanks for watching. Be sure to check out our off-road vehicle comparison, this to the Bronco. And as always, where should they go, Andre?
alltfl.com. One place for everything automotive, right there.
See you next time. Ciao. Do you want to try towing with this again?
We could try, yeah.
All right, yeah, stay tuned for that too.